Good afternoon, and this is Palm Trees and Politics with your host, Cedric Dawkins. We thank you for tuning in, and today we have the privilege of having with us City of Miami Gardens Councilman Robert Stevens III. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Dawkins. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, thank you. So first of all, tell us a little bit about Miami Gardens, the area, how many residents, and who do you represent in the City of Miami Gardens?
Yeah, well, Miami Gardens is the largest predominantly black city in the state of Florida. Your third largest municipality in Miami-Dade County, with roughly about 114,000 residents. I serve as one of the 7 council members representing the entire city as an at-large council member. I like to identify Miami Gardens as the Harlem of the South. It's a very well working class community, and all of the entertainment and excitement that's happening in Miami-Dade County, chances are it's happening in the city of Miami Gardens, because we are the home of the Hard Rock Stadium. And as you all know, the Hard Rock Stadium is the home of the Miami Dolphins, Formula One racing, Miami Open, our very own Jazz in the Gardens Music Festival, Rolling Loud, Beyonce is coming here very, very soon. So the list goes on to the world-class events. We're getting ready to host FIFA in 2026 in Miami Gardens. We've hosted the Super Bowl a number of times. So as it relates to international events or national events, the list goes on and on and on, and it seems like every day we're expanding our boundaries and welcoming different attractions to the city.
That's so cool because, of course, for the old heads, we know it as Carol City.
That's right.
And I know that Miami Gardens itself as a city has come upon, or is it coming upon, an anniversary?
We are in our 20th year anniversary. The city was incorporated May 2003. I tell my colleagues I was 9 years old when the city became incorporated.
Mm-hmm. Baby, 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 baby.
So to see what the city looks like now,
Yes.
and what it has transitioned from me being a little boy growing up in the northwest part of the city known as the Bajas, Vista Verde, River City area, to see what it looks like now is rewarding. I get the privilege of waking up and serving as an at-large council member in my hometown, the town that created endless opportunities for me and continue to provide opportunities. So it's very rewarding just to see where we are now and where we're getting ready to go within the next 5 to 10 years, that some of the major projects that we have coming down the pipeline.
Well, I see a lot of new businesses throughout the city. I see Chipotle, Kohl's, a lot of national brands. Who else can the people maybe look to see in the near future?
I don't know exactly who's what the people can actually look forward to, but I can tell you we are in the process of welcoming roughly about 4 different hotels.
Oh, nice.
There's a huge economic development project that's happening on the 35 acres within the city just south of the Hard Rock Stadium. And that project would be a series of things. It would be considered the City of Miami Gardens City Center. We'll be welcoming some entertainment, restaurants, hotels, residential housing, condominiums and apartments right there in the city center. And then we're working on creating or building the Miami Gardens Performance Arts Center that would be tied to hotels as well. We're zoning that area. We'll be zoning that area as the Miami Gardens PACE District. That stands for Performance Arts, Civic, and Entertainment. So all of that would be in that the heart of the city of Miami Gardens. And that would be over a 2 to 3 year span. So we're looking forward to doing some really, really good things and welcoming them to the city.
That sounds exciting. It sounds like the city is at one point will almost become self-sustaining in a sense.
Oh, we're very self-sustaining. I don't say it to be boastful or to have a little bragging rights, though I have. There's no other city that's doing what the city of Miami Gardens is doing.
You said you were going to be boastful. But go ahead.
We set the bar very high. Just the way that what we have accomplished in 20 years and where we're heading in the next 5, 10 years is breathtaking. Because when you look at where the city is now, far as the age, 20 years, we're still a fairly new city. We just became a legal adult. We're not even legal to drink yet, according to the law.
Correct.
But to see the economic development, the projects, and all of the things that the city is doing, it is absolutely amazing. And like I said, there are cities that's been around, no shade or no diss to any other city, but there are cities that's been around for 50, 80 years and is not doing what the city of Miami Gardens is doing.
Well, one thing I find very intriguing, it looks like you all are basically tearing down all the parks and building them back up again. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was through our general bond obligations that the residents allowed us to do. The previous council, before my colleagues and I now, was able to get the bond passed by the voters that would allow us to renovate all of our city parks. The city manager met with the city council and heard the voice of the residents and created different programming and different structures of buildings as we work to build our community center. So when I got in office, I was fortunate enough to cut a number of ribbons to these new facilities. Bunch Park, which has an indoor track and field, a park, a community that was known just for its field, where the Bunch Park Cowboys were practiced at growing up. My big brother would play football for them. The Senior Family Center, which has become one of the staple community centers in the city of Miami Gardens. Cloverleaf Park, Andover Park, and just next week we'll be cutting the ribbon to Lester Brown Park and breaking the ground to Brentwood Pool. And then a week after we'll be cutting the ribbon to Bennett Lifter Park. And these are community centers all throughout the city of Miami Gardens. Because when you talk about, we believe wholeheartedly, former mayor, now county commissioner, chairman of the Miami-Dade County Board of Commission, Oliver Gibbert, mentioned it. If we build the parks, we need to make sure that the people are there. We have to create communities where people will come and enjoy what the communities have to offer. And that's the goal behind building the parks. Every new building looks different. Because we didn't want anything to be the same. We wanted each community, neighborhood to have its own identity. Though we're all Miami Gardens, there's your Norland area, your Norwood, your Scott Lake, your Rolling Oaks, the Bajas, the Vista Verde area. All of these are different communities. And that's what makes Miami Gardens such a unique community, because we are essentially what you call a melting pot. We got it all in Miami Gardens, while still keeping as one of the largest predominantly black cities in the country.
Well, one park I can recall that really they totally transformed it was Buccaneer Park.
Yes.
It looks like a whole new, place. That's what they've renovated.
Buccaneer Park is actually one of my favorite parks, more so because it's a very community-centric park, family-centric park. You have the splash pad, you have a walking trail, you have a basketball, you have indoor community center. So you can go and there's something for every family member to do. And that's what the concept that we have with all of these parks. So I did a tour of Lester Brown Park, and I'm thinking Lester Brown is about to be my new favorite. And then yesterday I saw the final pictures of the Bennett Lifter Park, and I think that's about to be my new favorite park. I'm just excited that we have community centers for the community that the people can take advantage of. When you talk about advancing the community, your park and recreation department is the heart of your community, because if you don't have facilities where your young people, your mid-age or your older people can go to and enjoy the basic necessities of life, then you have a problem. So the fact that you can go to the park and you can work out, or you can go to your community center and you can enjoy some of dance classes or line dances, foreign language classes, all of these great things in your backyard. You're ensuring that the community is equipped and prepared for what the future has to offer.
Now, do any of the parks offer any type of like a tech lab or just any computers that students can go and utilize?
I told you we was the best city in the state, in the country. I put my recreation department among anyone. We have computer labs in our centers that you're more than welcome to attend. We have gyms. We have fully equipped gyms. We have dance classes, Spanish classes, Creole classes, everything that you can possibly think of that you can go to a community center for. The City of Miami Gardens offer it, whether you're on the north, the west, the south, or east part of the city. You can go there and experience all that it has to offer.
That's very exciting, very exciting. Now, let me ask you, like policy-wise, what type of policies have you all put into place that maybe makes it more, just make the residents feel safer, something that gives them more, just more things to do, just different educational things that they can tap into?
Absolutely. So my office has been hard at work with creating policies to govern land. From beautification projects, infrastructure improvement. We have the best police department that has restructured some things on how they do things moving forward, from creating our community action team that focus on building the community, but also being able to address issues as it arise, all the way from ensuring that we beautify senior homes. Those are on fixed incomes. We've created policies to address the quality of life. We, at this upcoming council meeting, I have a few items on the agenda to make it mandatory that every community park has a Stop the Bleed kit at all of the centers. So therefore, if anyone is injured in whatever the case may be, each of our parks would have the kits there so that the employees or whomever is around is able to stop the bleeding while we're waiting for fire rescue or our first responders to show up on the scene. So that's coming before us. I'm also directing the city manager to go after safe road grants, which will essentially allow us to secure funding to improve traffic calming devices throughout the city that would reduce speeding, because traffic homicide is at its all-time highest now. So we have to find ways to combat those.
Yes.
Beautification projects, a number of items to address the quality of life. When you talk about local government is what affects your life instantly. We do things that that the state and the federal government can't do. I can wake up tomorrow and make an ordinance to shut down all parks at 3:00 p.m. And that's the law of the land. So instantaneously is the kind of government that we are, but we are responsible for your quality of life. So since I've been in office for the last 3 years, we've worked on a number of projects, resolutions, and ordinances to address the issues that has been risen by the community.
Now, in terms of crime, how is the city trying to make sure that people are safe, they feel safe?
Well, crime is good. Our crime rate is good. We're not high in crime. Like I said, one of the biggest issues that we've been facing in our community, which is I don't want to say international, but a national issue, is traffic homicide. Speeding is at its all-time highest. People are just not driving safe these days. But we're in a really good place. I'll tell you how you know we're in a good place. The fact that every international sport and all of these major events are coming to the city of Miami Gardens is reassurance that we're doing something right and that our crime is not it's not high. Like I said, our police department is constantly expanding. My colleagues and I are constantly putting dollars towards improving the operations of our police department, because public safety is number one. No one wants to be in a community where you can't go jog and because you're fear for your life. You can't walk down the street or you can't go to a restaurant. And in just 24 hours, less than 24 hours, we're going to welcome over 40,000 young people to the city of Miami Gardens for the Rolling Out concert. Yes. You know, this is their maybe third or fourth year being with us. So like I said, because all of these international sports like Formula One racing, Miami Open, and Rolling Loud, they're coming to the city of Miami Gardens. Not the city of Miami, not Miami Beach. They're in the city of Miami Gardens, and that's because of what we all have to offer at the city.
So to backtrack just a moment, with regard to Formula One, do you think some of the people who were opponents in the past, now that it's been here for 2 years, successful, and a lot of the vendors of the city have been able to, make money from it and just kind of get the experience, do you think that has changed the perception of some of the residents in terms of welcoming new projects that they may not be originally familiar with into the city?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I host monthly table talks, which allow me to have a candid, raw conversation with my constituents. And to hear feedback, see what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we need to improve in, what you enjoy about your community. And some of the comments that I get every year after rolling Formula One that's been here for 2 years is, Councilman, it ain't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Our local businesses, they're in Formula One participating as vendors of this sport. We have internships. Our young people from Miami Gardens is interning with the Hard Rock Stadium, the Formula One promoters, to ensure that the experience is embedded into the community. Our Formula One F1 in Schools initiative, we have it currently at the Bunch Park, and we're getting ready to expand to our local elementary schools, Scott Lake Elementary, Brentwood Elementary, Care City Elementary, all of these different schools. We're getting ready to expand the F1 in Schools STEM initiative. So I definitely think I know the doubt or the worries that a very small percentage of residents had prior to Formula One that's kind of died down now. So each year it's been successful since it's been here. It's been extremely hot. But aside from the heat, it's been good. It's been good. I've enjoyed going and experiencing and just being in a mix of a very international crowd.
And I have to compliment the city on, I would say it's got to be the biggest Juneteenth festival.
That's right.
In Miami-Dade County.
That's right. I'll say the biggest Juneteenth festival in the state. And it's the Miami Gardens way. We're the largest predominantly black city, so nobody can't do it out of, you can't outdo us. We have a mandate to do it the right way. I missed this year's festival, but I've heard nothing but great things, and our Vice Mayor Wilson and Councilman Leon held the torch down in my absence. But I heard it was amazing. I saw videos and pictures while I was away on city business. But this is year 3, and each year keeps growing. So yeah,
that's good. That's good. And I know that I follow some of your things on social media. And I see you do a lot with the kids in terms of educational initiatives. Talk about some of the education initiatives that you have done and you have coming up.
Yeah. See, I'm an educator at heart. By day, I oversee the retention at the biomedical science program for Barry University. So creating and ensuring that education is accessible and affordable has always been a mandate of my personal life. We just launched in May or June of this year the City University Partnership that essentially allow residents to go and take college classes out of the community center by a way of Miami-Dade College, Florida Memorial, and St. Thomas University. So this City University Partnership create accessible and affordable education to all the Miami Gardens residents, doesn't matter of your age. The idea that you can go to this community center that's in your backyard and take accredited college classes to earn your college degree is game changing. We had our first info session this past Monday to educate the participants or the prospective students on what the program entails and how do they go about with matriculating from Miami-Dade College as a starting point to either St. Thomas or Florida Memorial as their additional pathways. Was very rewarding. I had residents to email me, come up to me the night of and just say, Councilman, thank you. Because this opportunity exists, I'm now going back to school. I'm going to go and get that degree that I always wanted to accomplish. And that's how you know that it's meaningful and the work behind it is going to be impactful. So I'm looking forward to it. We're kicking off our first cohort of students in September by way what is considered a accelerated term with Miami-Dade College. They'll be able to go to Betty T. Ferguson Recreational Center Monday through Friday and speak to a college representative for financial aid admissions registration advisement all the way up until the day classes start. We're running a series of college classes. We're renovating our computer lab and a classroom on the south side of the Betty T. Ferguson Center where the residents would be able to go and take their classes.
Now, are the classes free? Are they reduced price? What?
So we're encouraging all of the residents to apply through, every participant has to go through the financial aid process.
Okay.
And then whatever financial aid is not covering, we have what is considered a last dollar scholarship that will cover the cost of what financial aid is not covering.
Oh, that's great.
Yep, so it's free.
And what's the response been so far? Has registration begun?
Yep, so this past info session, we had roughly about 30 prospective students who attend. We have another info session for the next 2 Mondays, so this upcoming Monday and then following Monday at 6:30 at the Betty T. Ferguson Recreational Center. We're expecting a lot. We're expecting the residents to take full advantage of it.
So they'll start in the fall?
They would start in the fall this year. Classes would begin in September.
Now, how are the classes disseminated between Miami-Dade, Florida Memorial, and St. Thomas?
So Miami-Dade is your starting point. And once you complete a certain level of credits, I believe, which is 60, that's so that you can get your AA degree, is when you would transition to either St. Thomas or Florida Memorial based off your pathway that you're on.
Okay.
So we've created 3 different pathways: an education pathway, a health sciences pathway, and a business pathway, based off which one you decide to take, which is those areas are what has been zoned as jobs that Florida needs, jobs that people are looking to advance in, or they need, that's what's thriving in today's economy. So depending on which pathway you're on is which institution you would matriculate to. Though once you get 60 credits at Miami-Dade College, you can transfer and pretty much get accepted into any institution in the country. But based off this partnership, you're able to matriculate if you want to do education, Florida Memorial, if you want to go to business, St. Thomas, based off, like I said, the different pathways. And then Florida Memorial in the fall as well is offering courses that I identify as quick wins, which is your vocational and technical programs. So they'll be running a series of weekend classes as well that would be made accessible to the residents.
It's very nice, very nice. Now, I know that you've done some things with young authors, like book fairs and things of that nature. Are you still doing that?
Yep. So each year we host our National Authors Day book fair and read-in, and that gives us an opportunity to display local authors from the city of Miami Gardens and the Miami-Dade County area. That's on November 1st, which is zoned as deemed National Authors Day. This upcoming weekend, which I'm not quite sure if the show going to be aired before or after, but
Tuesday.
Oh, so it's going to be, so by the time this is aired, it's going to be past. So this past weekend, we've been on host a 2-day book fair.
Oh, nice.
At the Bunch Park area, we'll
what's that
host
called?
The book fair, Molding Writers Book Fair. And this is essentially displaying local authors and promoting them and allowing their books to be seen. It's free to the community to come out to purchase books, meet authors. There'll be some read-ins, food trucks, all this good stuff that you can come out with your families and just promote literacy in our community.
Oh, very good, very good. And we're like kind of midway point now of the year. What big things do you have planned between now and December, would you say?
Yep. I'm focusing more so on building out the city-university partnership. I don't see anything new coming down the line other than, like I said, building out the city-university partnership and some major infrastructure projects. I'll be working with State Representative Robinson to secure, like I said, some traffic calming devices that would address pedestrians walking along our street lines and creating a safer community. That's my main focus for the next few years. For the next year, the remaining of the year. Right. That's my focus for the remaining of the year as we work to create programming for the future year.
Cool. Now, do you all do any sports partnerships for youth at all?
I
know you have a lot of football optimists and basketball.
So one of the great things that happened last year or the year before is the Miami Dolphins brought their training camp from Davie back to the city of Miami Gardens. Yes. So we've created some direct support and sponsorships from the Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Dolphins, to our youth athletes in our community. Miami Gardens has the largest city-ran football and cheerleading operation in all of the state. It is a big deal in Miami Gardens. So we're getting ready for football season, or we're in pre-football season. We have about five to six different teams that's happening. But we have a number of corporate sponsors that's supporting our young people.
That's great. That's great. I wanted to ask you, I know there's a lot of, I guess you would call them committees, advisory boards for Miami Gardens residents who, of course, aren't elected officials to be a part of. What are some of those boards, advisory boards and committees?
It depends. It varies from our Women's Commission, our Veterans Affairs, our Elderly Affairs, the infrastructure improvement, keeping Miami Gardens beautiful. The list goes on. We have a number of different committees that residents can be a part of. I think at this moment, most of the seats are already filled because the council make appointments, but they can always tune in as additional members to just watch and be a part and let their voice be heard.
Now, they change the membership every year, or they're seated for a couple of years?
They are seated until the council member is no longer in office or the council member decides to move them around and put someone else in place.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay. Well, it sounds like you all have a lot going on in the city of Miami Gardens. Everybody's excited to always see what's happening. And tell the people, if they wanted to reach out to Councilman Stevens, how would they do that?
There's a number of ways. You can always connect with me on social media, Robert Stevens, Robert L. Stevens III, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And I think they have this new thing called Tensions.
Threads.
Threads, yeah.
Which is connected to your Instagram. Yeah.
But it's like a Twitter kind of thing.
Yeah, correct.
Twitter, LinkedIn, Robert L. Stevens. You can always email me. I check my own emails, rstevens, STEPHENS, at miamigardens.gov, miamigardens-fl.gov. Or, give us a call. Call City Hall and ask to speak to Councilman Stevens.
Great. Well, we want to thank Councilman Robert Stevens for coming in today and sharing with us all the great initiatives that he has working, as well as policies, and procedures that the city is working on to improve the quality of life for the residents. Again, I am Cedric Dawkins, your host, and you're watching Palm Trees and Politics. We thank you for tuning in, and we will see you again next week. Thank you. Have a great evening.